Hi everybody, Elisa here with another Vera Bradley bag of the day. Today it's Friday, August 28th, which is Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day, which is a day set aside to commemorate pet companions that have passed away. And so gives me an opportunity an excuse to talk about Duke and my custom bags. People probably, if they've seen some of my videos, probably know I sometimes haven't been doing so well since I lost my dog Duke in November 2019. And I started at that time. Well, I should mention before I get to that Duke was not the first dog, my first dog, and he's not the first dog I've lost. He was the second dog that I've lost. But there were very different circumstances and time frames, and Duke definitely helped me heal from the loss of my first dog. And so I think I was therefore very attached to Duke, and he was very attached to me, and very physically affectionate with me. And so it's quite a void in a different way, and almost a more intense way than losing my first dog, whose name was Lucy. Although I'd also loved her. Crazy loved her too. But when I lost Lucy, I didn't have another dog at the time. And so when I got Duke, he was a dog I could get purely for me and for my needs at the time. And so that's why he really was a healing dog for me. Then when we had Duke, after a little while of having Duke, we got Peaches as a puppy. And so when Duke passed away, and we were thinking about, my husband really wanted to get another dog to keep Peaches company, we had to pick a dog based on what Peaches could handle, because she's a little limited. She doesn't do well with every dog. I mean, she adored Duke. And she's not the same dog anymore. She absolutely is not the same dog anymore. She changed when he died, and seemed much sadder and more serious, and that's sort of, she's maintaining that. I mean, that's sort of what she is now, and that's okay. I'm happy to let her be how she is. She's definitely the least joyful dog that I've had. But we were hoping that maybe if we got a dog for her, she at least wouldn't be so lonely. And I think she tolerates Rosie. So we couldn't get an adult dog. It seemed more of a challenge to get an adult dog. And so we went with a puppy. And so, I feel, I love Rosie, and Rosie's sweet and she's great, but she's a dog for Peaches. And so I don't really feel like I'm in the same situation I was when I got Duke, where I picked a dog to help me heal. And so I wonder if that's affecting my healing a little bit, and I'm not healing in the same way. There's almost a part of me that feels like I might not fully heal until I'm in a situation again where I can pick a dog just for me. And that's okay. I love my dogs, and they're caring for them is, my primary, concern. And I do love and appreciate them. But anyway, sorry for the ramble. So when I was going like crazy out of my mind with grief, over Duke, which I still feel like every now and then a wave will hit you, and it's, I'm still in that state. I'll be in that state for a little while. But when that first happened, I somehow got it in my head. I realized that in the custom tote section of Vera Bradley, you could have personalized embroidery done for the inside of the bag. And for some reason, that just comforted me. The idea of doing that, getting something in memory of Duke, and having my father write it so it would be in his handwriting to be like extra meaningful to me, just gave me something happy to sort of fixate on for a little bit, even though it was very superficial. And so that's when I did this first tote. So that was like November 2019. And you know, people probably think they have a handful of bags that they'll never get rid of. I mean, I have some that I'm trying to salvage just because I don't use them. But this is a bag that I would never get rid of, obviously. This is the first one I did. The embroidery, which I'll try to show, is in my dad's handwriting. And, like, you know, if the house were on fire, you know, this would be the bag I would grab. But God, let's not even think about that. So this pattern, and this is still available. This fabric is Foxwood Menagerie Blue. People probably recognize it. It's just like the lining from the regular Foxwood pattern, only different color. And you get all the critters that you normally get. And I just thought, you know, it's kind of like field of foliage and little critters, and it just kind of, I could look at it and say, okay, well, this is how I picture Duke running through the fields chasing squirrels or whatever. And so that's why I picked this fabric. And I also like critters. Everyone knows I like critters if they watch my videos. And this is a nice color. And this is the first one I did, and I was definitely still in the frame of mind, and it is the way I usually think about custom bags, is I like to have a cohesive look outside on the outside of the bag, and so I was thinking I want all the elements, the straps, the pocket, and the body of the bag to be the same fabric so that it all looks like a unit. Because I think that when people go too crazy with doing lots of different things, the bag starts to fall apart. It starts to look homemade, not so great. And so the body, the whole body, everything on here is that Foxwood Menagerie Blue, and the trim, I think it was indigo microfiber. And then for the inside, I did the Foxwood. Now I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't remember what this custom fabric is. It's Foxwood, but it's a different color palette. It might be Foxwood Navy. They might be calling it that. I'm not sure, but it's still available. You can check on the proper name of the pattern on the website. I considered for a second doing this on the outside, but I thought if I don't get a fox or I don't get good critters on placement on the outside, I'll be so upset. So it seemed too risky to do that on the outside, because there are, the foxes and the rabbit and everything that you would get in a regular Foxwood pattern, or they're in this too. Let me see if I can just show without having to turn the whole thing inside out, which is kind of a little bit labor intensive. That's not bad. So I was able to get my dad to to write the inscription that I wanted in there. And for people who might be a little hesitant to try to do that, a custom embroidery thing on the inside, it's very easy on the website. There's a template, and you download that, and then you print it out and write on it. And then you take a photo of it. And when you're picking out all your options, for the bag, it prompts you, when you get to the embroidery part, there's a prompt to do your embroidery. You can upload your embroidery, and you can upload the file. Super easy. I've done it 3 times now, never had a problem. So I was really pleased with the way that worked out. And I do have videos on all these bags, and I can put links. This one people may not want it. This video people may not want to sit through, because I did it when I was super emotional and grieving. So it's a little long and a little sad. But that was my first one. And none of these are my bag of the day. My bag of the day was still this, which if people saw my last video, they know about this. This is Persistence Patchwork. And I'm still really loving this. And just realized now, looking at all the bags I have out, they're basically all blue, which is great. I mean, I love blue. Oh, which reminds me, because someone had asked a question after I'd done the video, someone had asked a question about the fabric here because some of the fabric pieces in here, whether sections, because it's all one piece made to look like separate pieces, but some of these sections of pattern are French paisley and it's lining French ditzy, and people probably recognize that from that recent release. But the background color is different, and she had asked, is the background color the same? Because on the actual French ditzy is purple, but here is blue. So I just thought I would try to show that. So here. So if you get the big square there is French paisley, but you can see the background is blue. And there's that strip, this strip here. Yeah, that's French ditzy, but the background is blue. And of course they plopped the bees down on there. The bees aren't in French ditzy. But just thought I would point that out because that was kind of interesting. They did that. So it's not exactly the same, which is kind of neat. Anyway, but that was my real bag of the day. But then, so then moving on with my depressing custom totes. So then it just felt like that one made me feel so good that I felt like once I had enough credit card points that I could use credit card points to get another custom bag, I would do the same thing. And I wasn't going to be traveling to my dad's at the time, so I could, otherwise I would have had him do this embroidery too, but the writing for it, but because he's better at it than I am. But I wasn't able to do that, so I just did it myself. And this one, I decided to take a chance and mix up the patterns, because at this point they had put some new patterns up which are still there, and I felt like they really coordinated well. These three patterns coordinate so well. And they're so great because two of them have great critters in them. And so I thought, well, the color schemes in all three of these fabrics are so similar that they'll go well together. They'll coordinate well, and the bag won't feel like it's falling apart. It won't feel too jumbled. And so I went with, this is Itsy Ditsy Navy for the pocket and the straps, and the body is Itsy Ditsy Creatures Navy. People probably recognize, I mean, there is the regular Itsy Ditsy and its lining, which would look like this, but the color scheme is different. You know, great critters, dragonflies, bees, ladybugs, butterflies. So I couldn't resist. It's like, there's no way that I'm not going to get a bag with this fabric. I was a little nervous because it has such a distinct vertical element, and I was worried about crookedness. But it was constructed very well. And I've got to say that I know some people have unfortunately had some trouble with their custom bags where they feel like they're not constructed well because things look askew, things look not properly aligned, and the pattern looks lopsided, not level. And it's a shame. It shouldn't happen with such an expensive bag. And I've been very lucky, and I appreciate the quality of these bags. I have no complaints with these bags. Except about the thread, actually, which I didn't mention here, but I can mention here. It's the same embroidery thread color I chose for both of those as lavender. And that's I wasn't pleased with that because it's such a light color lavender that it doesn't really look lavender. It just kind of looks like off-white or something. But on my third bag, I chose a different thread color, and it worked out great. And so inside, the lining here is Cloudvine's Multi. Again, all three still available in the custom section so people could go look. And I'll put the links to my other videos on these bags below. It's a great lining, and it's nice and light so you can see what you're doing in your bag. And these are regular Vera totes. Yeah, it's a big bag, as I'm always saying. But you're limited with the custom styles. And I don't like the small Vera, it's too small for me. So this was what this is what I was going to go with, the large Vera. And I'm not crazy about the way the on the go looks custom. It's too small of a bag, I think, to sort of break up with different patterns and different sections. And I don't like the bag style enough to just get it all in one custom fabric. Anyway, so here, see if I can get the embroidery out. Again, this is my mock-up. Again, Duke related. Oh, see if I can get it out there more. You know, for a minute, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll do a Bible quote or something. But no, I feel like I'm still just going to go with Duke. That's just always what I think. I feel like I'm going to always do with a custom. You know, if I ever get another one. So that was the second one. And I was liking this itsy ditsy navy on the pocket so much. The pocket and the straps are itsy ditsy navy. I probably didn't really talk about that, finish that thought with it, which was that they coordinate so well that I could mix up the patterns together. And I got a little daring for me and decided to put two together, and I was really pleased with the way that it turned out. But then I was starting to feel like this wasn't enough of this fabric, because I like this fabric so much, especially after the regular itsy ditsy came out. And I was like, yeah, I love itsy ditsy, but God, I really like these purple and blue colors here. And what's so great too about this itsy ditsy navy is the teal. You can see all those little teal leaves. I mean, it's such a gorgeous color, that teal. So again, I decided to try to mix it up a little bit because I think these fabrics coordinate so well. So I decided, because I wanted as much of this as possible, I thought, oh, well, just break it up a little bit with the strap. And so the strap was Cloudvine's Multi. You know, I wasn't sure about it at first. I'm looking at the mock-up on the screen this way. But then I realized, you know, you can let me look at the back. And when I saw it this way, without that pocket, I was able to sort of just focus on the fabrics a little bit, and I realized I liked the way it looked, and so I went with it, and I'm really pleased with it. I just feel like this strip is just popping enough, just to give it a little interest. And the trim is indigo microfiber again. On all of these, it was indigo microfiber. So very pleased with this. Love this one. So I definitely feel like I would consider mixing up the fabrics more now because I've had this good experience. But again, I think it's because these particular three fabrics work so, you know, have such similar colors in them, and they work well together. And the embroidery. This is again my handwriting, just sort of mocking up a font because I didn't like the font option that you get on the website. Sort of dark in there. But this is a let's see if I can get it out more. This is, I can't remember, it might have been ocean green, this thread color. I can't remember. But I was trying to match that teal kind of color, and I'm pleased with it. I think it looks nice. So I definitely would see using that color again. I think it reads well. Plus it matches, coordinates well. And again, the inside is Cloudvine's Multi, because it's just, you know, good for seeing your stuff in there. So this bag only makes use of just two fabrics. Anyway, those are my 3 Duke-related custom totes. And I did just want to mention, because I'm sure other Vera fans probably can relate. You just have certain bags that you know you'll never get rid of for various reasons. And like these custom bags, obviously I'll never get rid of. Hi, Sweet Pea. But I also will always keep this. This is sort of Duke related too, and actually change the way I interact with my bags in a way. But this is my favorite crossbody bag, which is the Hadley On The Go satchel. I have videos on this. And I started to use this when I was having to take Duke to the vet emergency room a lot, especially like when he would collapse, sometimes he would collapse, and I have to take him there. And once I would get him up. And so typically I had been, before this experience with Duke, I had never kept a bag packed up. Why don't you just stay up here for now, okay? Yeah, because I don't like it when you jump, because you're little, okay? I work from home, and it never seemed like there was a need to keep a bag packed up. Oh, God, please don't jump right now. And so I would just, whenever I had to go out of the house, I would pack up a bag, and I would always take a different bag every day, usually. And it was never an issue, and I'm not that girly, so it's only been like the last few years that I've been carrying a bag a lot of the time. So it's kind of a new thing to me. But there was a day when I had a bag packed up, just for some reason I hadn't unpacked it, and Duke had an emergency, and I was able to just grab my bag and get out of the house, which is what I needed in that moment. And it just sort of opened my eyes a little bit. So I now always keep my bag packed up. If I want to switch out the next day, I'll do that, but I always have a bag switched out. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that this traumatic experience with him kind of changed the way I deal with my bags. Hi, Munchkin. And so this bag I took a lot. It worked really well in that situation, going to the vet with the dog, a big dog who's, nervous. And so I never had to worry about my bag slipping off my body or being in the way. It was really great, and fits all my stuff really well. And it sort of has a slouchiness to it. And so this was the one that I used a lot when I was taking Duke places, and also the version in Super Bloom. People probably recognize Super Bloom, same style bag, Hadley on the Go satchel. There she goes. And so I'll just never get rid of those, because I took them to those appointments with Duke, and I just have a strong attachment to them for that reason. In fact, I so much so didn't want anything to happen to this bag that I bought another one on sale in an online outlet sale, same pattern. It took me a while to get it, because I kept ordering and returning it because I wanted to get good pattern placement, which is tough with this one because some of the butterflies are upside down in the pattern. That's not, it's not a mistake. But I didn't want, a big upside down one right in the front. So I hate to admit this. It's a little embarrassing, but it's my video. So I haven't even washed this since I feel like I can't even wash it, because it's just, might have Duke hair on it or something. I just have some kind of emotional thing going on with this bag. I'll never get rid of it. I probably will never wash it again unless it just gets some horrific stain on it. I think it has a little bit of Duke drool on it even, and I'm not going to wash that out. Probably won't even come out at this point, because he was having trouble swallowing towards the end of his life. Anyway, so that was that. The bags I will never get rid of, and all of them sort of related to Duke, especially my custom ones for Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day. Anyway, thanks so much for indulging me, watching, and bearing with my sob story. And hopefully see you next time on Vera Bradley Bag of the Day, when things will be a little bit happier.